Welcome back to Fill in the Gaps, everyone. Welcome to Fill in the Gaps, episode 1.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Wow.
Welcome to Fill in the Gaps. I'm Egg. I'm your host. With me is Mr. Groovy Z himself.
Let's go.
Zac Spencer.
Good to be here, mate. Thanks for having me,
joining us.
man.
Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun and not cringe.
Maybe a little bit cringe.
Maybe a bit cringe.
That's all right.
But that's okay. We love a bit of cringe.
Everything's a bit of cringe.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Everything is cringe. Everything you will see and hear today is, in fact, cringe. So join us.
Everything.
Cringe Fest.
Have fun.
Everything.
Cringe Festival.
Cringe Fest.
Let's go.
That's the one.
Let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Before we get into today, thank you everyone for joining us for episode 1. All the love and support has been fantastic. Can't thank everyone enough. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share, rate, tell everyone that you know. It's how we spread the word. It's how we're going to get more guests, get a big community going.
This thing's going to blow up.
Not be cringe.
It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be awesome. Also wanted to give a big thanks to the guys at Horries Tell Stories, especially Cairo, for helping me set up everything, giving me some information. Great support. So thanks to those lads. On to the episode.
Let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
How have you been? What's
Good.
been going on?
Not too much. Pretty cruisy week.
Yep.
Only worked a couple of days this week, which has been nice.
Love that.
I'm in the middle of moving as well, so I'm just about to ship north. Just bought a place, which is really exciting. Thank you, mate. It's a bit scary, but it's exciting. About to have an afterpay account for the rest of my life.
That's not cringe.
That's not cringe.
No.
That's reality.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Bunnings and Kmart have absolutely ripped the dax off me lately.
Right.
Because you walk into Kmart and Kmart decides what you need to buy for your house.
It's always the way.
Right?
Always the way.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. So, but no, pretty cruisy.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Yeah, been a little bit busy setting all of this up.
Absolutely.
But yeah, exciting times.
Yeah.
In between jobs at the moment. Just quit my last job, so growing the facial hair back.
Fuck that job.
Fuck that job.
Yep.
And yeah, excited to start the new job soon. So
Happy days.
That'll be fun. Office job. Love that for me.
New adventure.
Exactly.
Yep.
More time for the gym, more time for the podcast.
Cool. You got to have some cool office socks too. Like Friday fun socks.
Mate.
If your office doesn't get around that,
One thing you need to know about me, because we've never been to the gym together.
we have not.
We have not. My gym sock collection is otherworldly.
I've seen it on your Instagram too.
Yes, exactly.
I do like some fun socks.
I have Cleo might be able to back me up on this. Cleo behind the camera, by the way. Thank you. Thank you to Cleo.
The brains behind it all, right?
She is the brains behind it all. There's no brains here, all the brains there.
The rose between a couple of thorns right here.
Exactly.
Yep.
She can confirm this. I think when I counted, I had somewhere around 120 pairs of gym socks.
I thought you were still going to talk about brain cells.
120 brain cells, that's a lot for me.
Yeah. Gym socks.
Yes.
That many.
Yeah. So that's socks from Red Dot, socks from Spud Shed, anything. Just
the 3-pack special from like Kmart or something.
Exactly.
Yep.
Typo. They're a bit expensive.
Okay.
But sorry, Typo. But
sort it out, Typo.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor.
Whatever.
Then we're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of funky socks.
Oh,
very
best.
important.
Yeah. I haven't worn my favourite ones in a while. Some pink tie-dye Space Jam socks.
I have some pink tie-dye ones as well.
Hit a gym session together. Wear
Absolutely.
them together. Absolutely.
Let's go. I'm
awesome.
excited.
Awesome. So on that, big gym buff over here, and early on, love that.
Not really. Not really.
Early on, I know you're a bit of a sport superstar, and I quote, I'm pretty sure you said those exact words when we met the first time. You said, I quote, I was a massive sports superstar and everyone looked up to me. Is that?
I think you might be getting confused with someone else.
That might have been what I said.
You said that about you.
Okay. No,
about yourself.
About you.
About me.
About you. Not a chance it was about me. I think
God,
it was
we're
about you.
punching high, aren't we?
Oh, that's all
You're
right.
going to have to get off to a pretty good start if that's what we're going to talk about.
That's all right. I know that you rode BMX pretty early in your life. Tell me about that.
I did, yep. So as a kid, I kind of grew up being a 90s baby, early 90s baby. I grew up as a bit of a punk rock kid and just rode bikes, rode skateboards quite a lot. And my middle brother, who's about 8 years older than me, started racing BMX, just like down at the local BMX track. And being the annoying little brother that I was, and probably still am, I wanted to do everything that he kind of did. So naturally, when your older brothers do things, you start kind of hanging around and you start getting a little bit of an idea for it as well. So Mum just bought me probably just like a cheap bike off like Gumtree or something like that. I was only about, I think I first started racing BMX when I was about 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I think. So I was pretty young.
Very early.
Yeah. I was a bit of just like had balls as a child. Just used to just do random shit like you did as a kid.
That's the time to do it, because as an adult, you go try to do anything, you're like shitting yourself.
Right.
Like, what if I break a bone? Then I can't work or anything. When you're 5, you're like, Mum and Dad are going to cover it. Who
exactly.
cares?
I'll fall out of a tree. I don't care.
Exactly. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These kids these days, right? They don't have a clue.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I wouldn't even think about doing half the stuff I did. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So started racing BMX, which was super, super fun. We were just like, our local track was like Kelmscott BMX track.
Yeah, right.
We lived it kind of out that way when we were younger. And just loved it. Just loved every second of it. Just loved riding bikes and just like being a kid. And kind of started enjoying it a little bit more, and Mum and Dad kind of entered me in a few different race meets, like Kelmscott I think would race on a Wednesday night, and then Byford BMX track would race on a Friday night. So there's 2 nights a week that I'm racing, and then I started getting a little bit of coaching and stuff like that, and one thing led to another, and Mum and Dad gave me really good opportunities to be able to go and do those things if it was something that I really wanted to do and that I was passionate about. Mum and Dad always made sure that I had that chance to do it, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's good that you have that kind of support, hey, because it does kind of kill a kid's creativity and stuff. Like, not that it's the parents' fault, but if they're not in like a financial situation where they can support you, or if they don't have the time to do it, then it kind of kills that dream a little bit.
Yeah,
so it is good when you have that support.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And BMX was one of those sports that wasn't overly expensive, but it got pretty pricey. You had to pay for a bike, and then helmets were pretty expensive, and your gear and fees and stuff like that. So really thankful and lucky that Mum and Dad were able to give me those opportunities. And one thing led to another, and just kind of got a little bit more exposure, and then raced at a couple of national championships. So there was a national championship that I raced at in Adelaide, and I think I was probably about 6 or 7 then.
Yeah, right.
It was still like participation at that point, so it was still pretty young. Which my middle brother Nick, he actually raced at the national championship as well.
Yeah, right.
And my mum raced BMX too.
Look out.
Yeah, so Mama
Grooves.
Yeah, Mama Grooves. Mama Trish, she loved it. She was a big BMX frother. She was actually at the point, I don't know if this is still true or not, and I could probably ask Mum this because she's probably got it locked away, but she was the oldest woman in Australia to race at a national BMX championship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
She claims that she came 4th every race, but
we'll say that she came first.
Yeah, we don't need to tell people that was only 4 people in the race, but at that age group.
We'll say that she came first.
Yeah, Mama Trish.
We'll go with that.
She crushed it. So that was in Adelaide. That was really fun. That was my first time travelling for sport, which was super cool. And then raced at a few state championships around WA, and then the World Championships in 2000 and I want to say 2003, maybe 2002. I think I was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So, and that was going to be held in Perth at the Burswood Dome. So I don't know if you might not even be old enough to have even seen the Burswood Dome.
I did.
You little whippersnapper, you.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, because you're talking about in 2002. I was like, I was coming up on my 2nd birthday.
Jesus Christ,
sorry. Yeah, end of 2000. I did go to the Burswood Dome a couple of times for
Justin Bieber, maybe.
I wish, if only. Yeah, I think I went there for maybe it was like WWE or something.
Yes.
Like that. I was a massive wrestling kid.
Okay, I think I went to a WWE there as well.
I think I might have gone to like Hulkamania or something like that. So yeah, living the dream.
Absolutely. So that was held at the Burswood Dome, which was really cool. But of course, I had to qualify for that as well. So that was a national championship over in Melbourne, I think, which was held at like a convention centre in Melbourne.
Yep.
Which was really cool. So for a lot of these events that were held in like stadiums and convention centres, they were BMX tracks that were built like from scratch, that were designed on other BMX tracks that might have been like over in America or Europe or something like that, which was really cool. So it kind of gave everyone the same. Everyone was kind of on the clean slate. No one had ridden on that BMX track before.
Yeah.
No one was familiar with it. So you had a few days leading up to race days to be able to get a bit of practice in and familiarise yourself and stuff like that, which was cool. So went over to Melbourne, qualified thankfully, which was cool.
No surprise.
A little
Superstar.
bit. A little bit.
Especially after taking after Mum and Trish. Like,
Right?
I mean, how we
Apple
lose?
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Exactly.
So,
That's what my parents say, but it's normally an insult when they say it. So, I mean...
Well, that's their fault. That's their loss.
Exactly.
Their fault. I shouldn't say that. That's rude.
I haven't even met them and you're already taking
I know. Should we... Let's just call it.
Oh, yeah. This was cringe.
Anyway, get fucked, Zach. So, anyway, let's carry on. So, yeah, qualified. Race at the World Championships was amazing. Really, really cool to have family and friends and stuff like that come.
Yep.
It would have been cool to be able to travel over to the States or Brazil or something like that. But the fact that we were at home and I could sleep in my own bed at night and
makes it easier.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly right. So not so much jet lag and all that kind of stuff. Did okay. Ended up finishing 10th in the world.
Yep.
Which was
that's all right. Yeah,
just missed out on the final 8, which would have been cool. But the guy that won it was actually from Perth as well.
Yeah, right.
So which was really cool.
Yep. Do you remember his name?
Ryan Van Voort.
Shout out to Ryan. That's
I don't have
big effort.
Yeah, I don't. And he ended up going on to win a couple of world championships actually. So I had his number a couple of times, not too many, but one guy that was from Victoria. His name was Bodie Turner, and I don't want to say crushed him because that's a big word to say in a BMX race.
Say it.
But I had his...
Say you crushed him, Zach.
I crushed him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I had his number a few times, and he ended up going on to race at the London Olympics in the Australian team.
Yeah, right.
So...
Do you know how he did?
Can't remember.
We'll just say that he smashed it and won gold.
There you go.
He pulled a Trish.
Yeah. He
pulled a Trish.
He was good.
We'll go with that. Go with that.
So that's a little bit of like a... I don't know if it's like could have, would have kind of thing, but you know, it's easy to say that when it didn't really happen. So, but that's cool though, to race with a guy that went on to race at the London Olympics, which I think might have been the first year BMX was in the Olympics.
Yeah, right.
I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah, pretty big stage then.
But yeah, super, super exciting.
Yeah.
So for him to go on and do that, which was pretty cool, and to be able to race against a 2-time world champion and then a guy to go on to race at the Olympics was...
Yeah, it's pretty special, especially so early in your life and everything.
Yeah, but...
Those
so yeah, I was able to do some cool things with BMX, like before I was in high school.
Yeah.
So, and then BMX kind of stopped for me after the World Championships.
Yeah.
I didn't really get the result that I probably wanted. In saying that, like 10 in the world is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And really lucky to be able to be given that opportunity, but to be so close to the final as well.
Yeah.
To just miss out on the final 8 as well. Bittersweet, but
yeah,
still cool.
Shit happens, right?
Exactly. It was a cool experience either way though.
Yeah.
So
of course.
Yeah.
And then from that, you were talking about how you obviously wanted those opportunities to go international, kind of didn't really get put in a place to achieve those. I know that you did travel a bit for baseball though.
I did.
Yes.
I did, yeah. So I managed to still be able to travel for Sport International, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Again, really cool opportunities to see some cool places and to meet some really cool people. But yeah, managed to get over to Singapore, China, Manila, and got to travel the States as well.
Yeah, right.
For about 4 to 6 months at a time as well, which was really
favourite
cool.
places? Not just in terms of playing baseball there, but just in terms of scenery that you got to see while playing baseball?
So the trips that I did to China especially was from memory, I think it was called like a goodwill tournament. So it wasn't a real competitive tournament. We still played really competitive baseball, and we played against some really cool like high schools over in China, and China love their baseball. All parts of Asia baseball's really, really big over there.
Yep.
So we played some really competitive baseball and played at some cool stadiums, but that was a bit more of like a bit of a holiday and more of just an experience as well. So we got to see we got to walk the Great Wall of China, got to see, I think there was a place called like Silk Alley or something like that, and some really cool like temples and buildings and stuff like that. So I probably wasn't quite old enough to really appreciate where we were.
Yeah.
Obviously the Great Wall of China, like that's really cool. That's something that's been around for years and years and years and years. And to see how it was built and the condition that it was in now as well was really interesting. So obviously not the whole Great Wall of China because that's very, very long.
Oh, you didn't walk the whole thing? That's lazy on your behalf.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I might go back and do it.
Yeah. Should have ridden your BMX along.
That would have been, I probably would have fucked myself up pretty bad, but.
I mean, I'm sure Trish could have done it. I'm just saying.
This is just a podcast about my mum now.
I mean,
Mum, I hope you watch this.
Yeah. I mean, you better send it to her and then we'll get her on the next episode and then...
Get Mum on here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That won't be cringe.
Nah. Oh, you haven't met my mum. Nah, it won't be cringe.
It's Trish.
It's cool. It would be cool.
How could it ever be cringe?
Doing a podcast with your mum.
Yeah.
What a great time.
Unbelievable. She can take my seat, you sit there, and me and Cleo will just sit behind the camera.
And Mum and I can just chat away.
Unbelievable. That's content right there.
Family bonding.
That is content.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That sounds like... Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Mum probably could, but maybe I'll try and ride my bike. Great Wall of China. But it wouldn't end very well. I found it really interesting, like Great Wall of China has like steps that are like this high.
Yeah.
And then the next step will be like a meter. Like it's real, just like, yeah, jagged and all sorts. But that was a cool experience.
Yep.
Singapore as well. Singapore was a tournament that I represented, kind of like a Perth state team kind of thing. Perth All-Stars, and we played against teams from Singapore, Manila, Hong Kong, Jakarta as well.
Yep.
Which was really cool. So we were the only team that was out of kind of Asia. Oh, I guess Australia is Asia, isn't it?
Oh, I never know with that. I really don't know because it's like Australia is part of Australia,
right?
But it's also part of Oceania,
right?
But it's also part of like Australasia or something.
Yeah,
and then it's also part of Asia. I don't know.
Australia,
no idea.
I don't know.
Part of Earth, I think.
Yeah, we're just everywhere, but nowhere. So
part of Elon's planet.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, or the Zuck, depending on whose side you're on.
Ooh,
have you seen the pictures of Zuck recently?
Dude, the guy looks fit.
Oh, I'm going to go with it's his planet.
He's like doing like jiu-jitsu or something like that, and they're supposed to be having a fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's not going to happen. If that happens, it's going to end the internet because one of them's going to have to sell whatever they have and they're just going to leave to Mars. Like, it's going to destroy it. So,
I mean, Zuckerberg would look like he's been training with
Israel Adesanya and Alexander
Volkanovski.
Yep.
Jesus.
So, I mean, I don't know who Elon's been training with, but
probably just himself, to be honest. Elon Musk just looks like that guy you just see behind like a canteen tuck shop or something, like, doesn't.
But that's the thing, that's what Zuck looks like as well. And now he takes his shirt off and all of a sudden he's got these abs and
he could probably,
guns and everything.
He could probably pay for them though.
It's true.
He could probably pay for like ab implants.
What, and Musk can't?
Yeah, true. Good point.
Or he could just leave to Mars and just say, fuck you all.
It's probably where he's from, to be honest. Like, you see his kid's name?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but it's...
I don't know. It had like numbers and stuff in it.
It's named after like his favourite jet or something like that. I don't know.
Spooky unit he is, but yeah.
Wouldn't be my first choice of name.
Probably not.
No.
Probably
Maybe
not.
second.
Yeah.
First is Trish, and then, second is probably...
Where's Zach get in there? Top 10? Top 5?
Probably number 69.
60.
Get it? Like sex? Yeah. That was cringe.
Yeah, that was cringe.
Cool.
My nickname in high school was Balzac.
Good effort.
Yeah.
Good effort.
Balzac.
Yeah.
So
I only started getting egg very late into... Oh, no, it would have been like the end of high school.
Okay.
After high school and everything. I think one time someone might have called me egghead kind of as a insult, and I was just
because your head looks beautiful.
Exactly.
Because it's beautifully shaped.
Yes, because I shave my head because hair genetics not on my side. What can you do? Unlike you, gorgeous hair.
Look, I'll take it. I do like having this luscious head of hair. It's a bit of my pride.
I'm sure it's nice, but
does it still look okay with the headphones on?
No, it looks good. Okay. It looks good. I wish I could say it doesn't, but Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of guys wear.
I
hats.
can't pull off a hat like you can though.
But that's the thing. Like people wear hats because they're insecure about like their hairline or hair loss or something. I'm just completely bald, so my head just gets really cold.
Yeah, fair call.
If I wear a beanie, it gets too hot. So I just found that a hat,
happy
perfect,
medium,
right in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I rock it. I suppose
you
with the beard,
embrace
and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, egghead started from that. So
you are very lucky. Yeah.
You, Cleo.
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Yeah. You're lucky. Have that beautiful man.
Bless your soul.
Wowee.
Trish is lucky to have you as a son.
I mean, look at me. Yeah. She's done well.
Oh, she's done.
You should look at my other brothers though. So,
how they doing?
Nah.
What are they up to?
What are they up to?
Yeah.
I don't know. One of my brothers is a teacher, so he's on school holidays.
Oh,
he's living
fella.
it. He's living it.
What age group does he teach?
He's head of the art department actually.
Right.
Which is really cool. Which is kind of up our alley a little bit.
Yep.
He's very arts and craftsy.
Yep.
So he's head of the art department at a primary school. So he does some pretty cool things. But he's on school holidays at the moment. Teachers, you know.
Unbelievable.
Just work for a few weeks and have a few weeks off.
Work for a few weeks, deal with little shit kids, and then get paid fuck all. Like, you know.
I know. I used to give my brother so much shit because of how much holidays and stuff that he has.
Yep.
But I have a lot of teachers in my life, some friends and my brother and a whole lot of other people, and I actually realise how much they do work.
Yeah.
You know, like my ex-partner was actually a teacher and she spent half the weekend marking and planning and half the holidays planning and stuff.
Couldn't do it.
Nah. Teachers have it pretty tough.
Yeah.
I do take my cap off to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about being, as I'm sure every person that grows up playing sport, I thought about being like a high school phys ed teacher or something like that, but so overcrowded. And then, like that I could somewhat deal with, but being in a classroom with those little shit bags.
Yeah. And you can't hit kids these days.
What's happened to kids these days?
When I was in primary school.
Unbelievable.
You just get a...
I mean...
And then you'd go home and no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad, you never beat me up.
Never.
They never did.
Trish just beat you in every sport.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
I feel like that's where the salt's coming from.
Mm.
Yeah. I thought so. Yeah. Cracked a little nerve there.
It still hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Probably more my ego than anything.
Yeah.
But
what can you do?
Trish crushed it.
Yeah. She's going to crush it on the podcast as well.
Get her on. Mama Trish, you're on here. Get pumped.
I love that.
Where were we? That went a little bit left field, didn't it?
That's all right. That's what this podcast is about.
Yeah. I hope the listeners are prepared to hear everything and anything.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they're willing to. It's episode 1. I mean, this is what you're in for. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was mental health, men's mental health.
Yeah.
I know that you're a part of, is it an app called My Possible Self?
Yeah. So they're a mental health app. I believe they're based over in the UK.
Yep.
But they obviously have platforms everywhere. And they're really big on mental health and fitness and well-being and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Which is really, really aligns with me, and it's something that I've been really serious about probably for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Something that I've always been aware of, but probably something I haven't really taken on board like properly. So I did like a little collaboration with them about 18 months ago, I think. Which was really, really special. So they have a segment on their app called, under like a men's mental health, it's called You're Not Alone.
Yeah.
And they're really talking about and really trying to get out. Obviously, that stigma around men's mental health is that men can't be weak and men need to be strong and fuck you and all that kind of stuff. And men don't have feelings. And the fact that we're in 2023 and there's still that stigma and that number behind men's mental health that's actually quite scary. You know,
it is.
You can talk about like how sad and depressing and all that kind of stuff is, but the fact that those numbers are still so high and there's still that stigma around that men can't speak up and all that kind of stuff's just really, really sad.
Yeah.
So men, if you're out there, if you're listening, speak up. You have feelings. It's important to embrace those feelings, I think, to feel those feelings, and understand that it's okay not to be okay and talk to someone.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Like, I think it has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep,
again,
absolutely.
you look at the numbers and there's a long way to go. Like,
Yep.
obviously everyone wants the number to be 0.
Thousands and thousands every year.
Yeah.
So I think before that number gets to 0, we've just got to keep soldiering on, and we've got to keep talking about it. And it's as simple as just having that conversation.
It is.
About making your friends and your brothers and any male in your life. And it doesn't even have to be like males, you know, there's still that mental health around females as well.
Yeah.
So just have that conversation, ask your mate if they're okay, go and have a beer with them, and just spark that conversation, you know, make it normal to be able to talk about your feelings. I think is really important. So yeah, I did a really cool, I guess like a little collaboration, about mental health and that you're not alone, and the importance about speaking up and stuff like that. So, which was really special. And then, got to speak for about 5 minutes, I think. Not quite as long as we're speaking about things today, but
about 6 minutes so far.
Yeah. So I had a little chat and basically just did like a voice memo. So you could either write it in, video record it in, or you could just like to like a voice memo in. So I went with the voice memo because I had a few little prompts written in front of me, and managed to spill out for about 5 minutes and spoke about a few things, which was really special because I think I learned more things about myself, even just like speaking to my phone. I had to cut like probably 4 or 5 times at least before I actually spoke for 5 minutes, which wasn't cutting up, or I wasn't getting like a little bit of a tickle in my throat or something like that. Like even talking about it now is kind of like, So managed to, I think, learn more things about myself. And the more I spoke about it and the more I had conversations with people about it, you know, you learn more things about yourself that you didn't really realize. And the more you speak about it, the more you kind of understand as well. So
yeah, it is an alarming thing. And like, I think you're a bit like me where we find it quite not easy, but easier to open up about how we feel about mental health. And if we're not feeling so great, we find it a little bit easier to reach out to people. But there are a lot of guys that kind of get scared by like how just like great this fear is over it. And then they feel like they can't speak up because they're scared of how that's going to feel and how they're going to
look
themselves.
Or how they're going to interpret themselves.
Exactly.
Right?
Because like you said, like you start speaking about it and without anyone else even saying anything, you learn a lot about yourself. And it is a scary thing. So when you start doing that, start realizing more about yourself, it opens up like this whole new world. And it's a scary thing to approach.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as we're kind of comfortable talking about it and everything, I know a lot of guys aren't. So it is important to reach out and everything.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it seems very easy, like when you look at it from afar, but in the moment, it's a lot more difficult. 100%.
100%. I can't agree more. And it wasn't always like I can imagine, because you and I have spoken about mental health things before in person on Instagram and stuff like that. But it wasn't always easy. You know, things aren't always easy. Things start really difficult, and you don't want to talk about things, because I was at a point where when I guess like allowed myself to be vulnerable, to be able to speak about those things, it wasn't always like that. I was always like very positive about telling friends to speak to someone if you're not feeling right. But then I was like, who am I to tell people to do these things if I'm not doing them as well? Exactly. So it wasn't always easy, and it's just one of those things that like practice makes perfect, and the more you talk about it, the more comfortable you become. Yeah. And if you've got mates out there that, you know, that are going through something, talk to them. You know, don't let it be too late. And if they're not talking about it, go and talk to them. Yeah. And spark that conversation, because sometimes you just need that little to kind of light the fire. And then I know when you start to open up and you start to talk about things that you're passionate about or things that are important, then everything else just kind of comes naturally. Yeah, exactly. You know? So, and that's what I found. The more I've been able to talk about it, the more I've been, I guess, like real with it. Yeah. You know, you have to be real. You have to be raw to be able to kind of rip that Band-Aid off things and be able to talk about stuff. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. The more you talk about it, the more you feel comfortable, embrace that conversation and just make it normal for men to speak up, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Because I've got a couple of mates that aren't so comfortable with that kind of stuff. And when I was going through points in my life where I had like needed a hand up, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And I kind of approached them, they kind of hit me back with like, not to be rude or anything, but that kind of, I don't know how to help you.
Yep.
And I'm like, I just need you to be my mate. That's
Yeah,
all that I need.
just listen.
Go for a beer with me or something like that. Just sit down and just be who you are. Because I don't need you to be my psych. I just need you to be my mate and know that there's someone there for me.
I think that's a really, really good point, because some people are scared to go and speak to a psychologist or just, you know, go speak to a doctor or something like that. Then if that's tough and if that's confronting, which I understand, for people going to speak to a stranger about your feelings can be pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's like going to the doctor when you're a kid and your mum comes into the room
Or
with
as
you.
an adult.
Or an adult.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you call the doctor for
Yeah,
me?
you book me an appointment, please. So just speak to a mate instead. Sometimes, as a mate, like, be able to be there for your mates and be able to talk to them. Message your mate and say, hey, what are you doing? Let's go grab a coffee.
Yeah.
And just be there. Sometimes just being ears is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a hero. But just listen to your mates. And if you've got any advice, I think any advice is better than no advice.
Yeah.
Probably.
100%.
Or just acknowledge who they are, I think, and acknowledge that these things, that mental health is real. Everyone goes through mental health.
Oh,
you know, mental health, it's not, you can't avoid mental health. And I'm not a doctor. I work in healthcare, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psych or anything like that. But what I've gotten to understand is that everyone goes through mental health.
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly. Sometimes people go through mental health, they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid it. You think you just have to embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, and understand that that it's okay not to be okay. To understand that, hey, I might not be feeling right. This maybe doesn't feel right to me, but that's okay. You know? So I think embrace it and be an ear for your mates, speak out with your mates, and just be kind to one another, I think.
Yeah,
Most
definitely.
important thing, so.
One thing that kind of resonated with me a little bit that I hadn't really considered, because like you said, you work in healthcare, so you work in a hospital.
Yep.
And you were talking about the shoulder injury that you had with CrossFit and everything.
Yep.
And then seeing kind of like being down a little bit because of that and not being able to train the way that you want to train and everything. But then kind of remembering back to what you've seen in a hospital and then looking at, I believe it's your brother is an amputee, stuff
He is,
like that.
correct.
So kind of putting it in the big picture and thinking about the fact that maybe, like, not just mental health but physical health as well, like maybe this isn't the worst thing in the world, but like I can still kind of feel a little bit shit and I can look at it from that perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, working in healthcare, I'm in a position where I get an opportunity to see all sorts, you know, all walks of life, and see the good, bad, and the ugly. Unfortunately, there's nothing too good about being in hospital. There's nothing too exciting about that. But to be in a situation and the job that I'm in, obviously, I'm not going to go into it too much. But I have the opportunity to sometimes make a difference in either people's lives or their hospital experience. And I think being in hospital is not an exciting thing. No one ever wants to be in hospital, but sometimes when you might have an experience with someone that just might make that experience of that little bit better.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that might be a memory of like, hey, hospitals aren't nice, but hey, I met this bloke called Zac and he made it that little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, so, and yeah, so I had a bit of a shoulder injury, going back almost like 2 years ago, which I thought was just like going to be a little niggle, and then kind of one thing led to another and ended up having to have like a little keyhole surgery, which in, I guess, like you said, in the bigger picture, it's not a huge thing. I was in hospital for a day and then Mum was in a sling for a couple of weeks and then I could start moving, but that's kind of what started a few little negative thoughts and that kind of put me down that that path. And again, with mental health, like you feel a little bit crap, and then you see some things that people go through in hospital. The hospital that I work at is the state rehab centre.
Yep.
So you walk through the rehab hospital and there's paraplegics there. There's people that are double amputees, that are brain injuries, and then you think, oh, well, maybe my problems aren't really that bad. Like maybe I should just toughen up, or maybe I've just like, you get upset because you've had a shit coffee and then you're like, really?
Yeah.
Like these people might not be able to taste coffee, or they can't pick up a coffee mug.
Someone has to give
because they've lost
coffee.
both their arms, you know. And like you said, my brother's an amputee. He lost his leg just below his knee in a motorbike accident when he was about 18 years old, which kind of turned our world upside down a little bit for quite some time. Mama Trish is a nurse, so big credit to Mum, 'cause she works in healthcare and she does some incredible things in healthcare as well. But she ended up essentially having to take about 6 months off being a nurse to be Nick's nurse.
Yeah.
So he spent about 6 months in and out of hospital, and then obviously, unfortunately, ended up having to lose his leg just below his knee. So, which again, going back and thinking about those things, it was like, oh, I've got a sore arm and my arm's in a sling, but my brother's only got one leg.
Yeah.
He's like, all those things that you take for granted, he's not going to be able to do ever again.
Yeah.
He's so limited to what he can do. And then I give him credit because he went to hell and back, and all the things that he faced and all the challenges that he faced. But he was 18 or 19, so I would have only been like 9 or 10 or 11 at the time. So I didn't really understand enough, which I look back now and think, and like little memories pop back into my head and realize like the challenges that he went through were crazy, and I don't know how I would have done it, and I know he went to some pretty dark places at times, and I completely understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah, huge credit to Nick, and he's an incredible brother.
Yeah.
We used to fight like crazy, but that's what brothers do.
Exactly.
So
that's a brother.
He's a really important part of my life.
Yeah.
And the things that he went through is I guess like a little bit of a reminder that shit happens, but I think, and everyone gets dealt shitty cards, but while you're still getting dealt cards, you're still in the game.
Exactly.
I guess so. Yeah. And he has a beautiful family and now he has an incredible wife and 2 kids. And they're a beautiful family. So
awesome. Love to hear it.
So yeah, but and I guess like we were talking about mental health as well, then you think it's easy to think like like maybe my problems aren't that bad. And I guess sometimes in the bigger picture, then that's a good way to look at things. Like maybe my situation isn't really that bad, and I need to carry on. And there's a part of that that's true, but also at the same time, just because your mental health problems or your physical problems aren't as bad as the guy that doesn't have any legs, or my brother that's lost his leg, or the guy that's in a mental health unit or something like that, in a psych ward or something like that, doesn't mean that your feelings and what's going on in your head's like, doesn't mean that that's not important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because everyone feels things a little bit differently. Maybe he's just, he's been dealt some tougher cards, and that's the situation that he's in. But at the same time, your feelings, it's important to understand that your feelings are still valid, and the troubles that you're going through doesn't make them
doesn't diminish them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just because your problems are less than someone else's doesn't diminish your problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
No, I agree 100%.
So with that shoulder injury, that was from CrossFit, I believe. Good old CrossFit causing all the shoulder injuries in the world.
If you ever want to get injured, just go and do CrossFit.
Oh, absolutely. That's the way to do it. But before the injury, I know you were doing pretty well in CrossFit. Superstar, some would say.
No.
It's got written here, that's what you said. But
that's what you wrote before we started, but that's fine.
Because I left my notebook at home. Yeah, so I know that you you participated in the CrossFit Open a few times.
Yeah.
How did you find that experience?
Really, really fun. So for anyone that doesn't know too much about the CrossFit Open, it's essentially like this online worldwide competition, I guess. They release workouts every week, and it's how you qualify for the next stages. But it's a really fun way to get competitive in your gym, and you get to throw down with your mates and do cool workouts and stuff like that, and then you record your scores, and your scores go up against everyone else in the world, and then it kind of narrows down to Australia or WA, and then narrows down to your gym and stuff like that. So that was super fun. My first CrossFit Open, I was very, very raw and very new to CrossFit. Sorry, my voice is breaking up a little bit.
No, that's fine.
So yeah, very raw to CrossFit, and I was still understanding CrossFit as a whole, and I just wanted to have a bit of fun. And then the more I understood CrossFit and got a little bit more experience and stuff, it went from being fun. Not to say that I wasn't competitive at the start, because I've been competitive since the day I could walk. So there's no doubt about that. But the more I kind of understood CrossFit, the more I challenged myself and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyone that's thinking about doing CrossFit, I wouldn't. Despite my injury, it's a very, very good environment. If you can get into a good gym, then the CrossFit cult, as some people probably say, is a good place to be in, and you're in a very supportive environment, and I think you're going to get the best out of yourself as well. So
yeah, definitely.
You've done a couple of opens.
I've done one.
You've done one.
I was very much the same as you, where I was very raw and new to CrossFit when I did my first open.
Yep.
I enjoyed it a lot, and I had some great people by my side kind of that had done it before, had competed in CrossFit before, that were there helping me, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think that was 2021.
Okay.
I think, or no, 2022, start of 2022.
Yep.
So I did the first two. Obviously, as you would know, like you see your ranking and you're like, damn, I'm that high. And then as all the like top athletes start doing it, you just get bumped down.
As soon as their scores start going back, or they redo a workout or something like that. Yeah,
exactly. So the Open is very much for everyone to have a go, but like that's how the top dogs qualify, and you do get bumped down.
Yeah,
and that's totally
absolutely
fine.
You've made a really good point, and it's like, I think that's the cool thing about CrossFit, is that it's very open to everyone.
Yep.
You know, you see people at the CrossFit Games or adaptive athletes and stuff like that. A good friend of mine, Emily, she competed at the Torium Pro.
Yeah, right.
And I can't exactly remember her injury, and she's probably going to hate me for it. But basically, like I think it's her right hand is basically like fixed, so she has no mobility or no movement in her right hand, and she competed at Wodapalooza as well, actually, in Miami. Right. I think that might have been earlier in the year, and then she competed at the Torium Pro as well. So I think that's really, really cool. She did really, really well, and I think she inspired a lot of people as well. So
yeah, because you even look at Gracie Walton from Perth, and she's killing it.
Absolute beast, huh?
Yeah, she's
come out of nowhere and crushing it.
Gone to Torian and just
missed out on the games as well. I think she finished like
insane.
4th or 5th or something like that. So.
I reckon give it a year or two.
Oh, sure. I think she'll be at the games next year.
She's going to be competing,
and she's so young. She's only 21 or something like that.
I think she's a year older than me. So yeah, it's nuts. Like seeing the weight she lifts and how she moves and everything.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
She's powerful, and it's
puts a few guys to shame, I think.
Oh, most guys, I think.
Haters on the internet. You know,
absolutely.
So,
I could lift that.
Yeah.
Go in a gym, try it, and let us know.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
You're not doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did the Open one time. I did the first two, and then I got COVID for the first or second time. I
remember you telling me that. So,
yeah, didn't get to do the third one, and then start of this year I was working FIFO, so I didn't really have the opportunity or the space or anything to do it, unfortunately.
You probably get looked at a bit funny if you start doing CrossFit movements in a FIFO gym.
I get looked at a bit funny regardless, so not even in a FIFO gym. So
and you're not even working out either, you just look that funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at you a bit funny.
Yeah, exactly. You sat down and straight away just
shit. This guy.
Yeah, no, but
I'm kidding. You look beautiful. Oh. You sound beautiful too.
So do you. Gorgeous.
Amazing.
Yeah, I do love CrossFit for that, because it is for everyone. Like, I mean, you can be going into the gym for the first time and you could still give CrossFit a go. Not saying you're going to kill it, but you can give it a go.
It's good. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the really cool thing about CrossFit is it's challenging. You're going to get the best out of yourself, and it doesn't matter if you're, a 35-year-old mum who wants to go and do a couple of classes a week just to be social and be fit, and it's her time away from the kids and all that kind of stuff, or if you're 21, 22 years old and you want to go to the CrossFit Games and you can do muscle ups and you can snatch 100 kilos, but there's still so many ways to work out whether you're that CrossFit athlete or whether you're that mum.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different ways to scale things, and I think that's the really cool thing about CrossFit is that it is absolutely for everyone. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So I'll let you go very shortly.
Okay. I've enjoyed this though.
Get back to
I feel like we
Trish
could just keep
and-
talking.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
I don't live with Trish, so
But I mean, you got to go see her now.
I might give her a call on the way home.
Exactly. Trish and the old man.
Phil.
Shout out.
Mum and Dad aren't together though. But
Oh, that's right. Shout out to Trish and Phil still.
yeah,
That's all right.
great people.
Oh, wonderful
They've
people.
made this, so
Exactly.
they are incredible
Oh.
people. Quick shout out to Mum and Dad though. They are
Yeah.
my mum and dad are
Yeah,
incredible
lovely.
people. So
Before I let you go,
Mm-hmm.
a few rapid fire questions and then the good old would you rather, the fun part.
let's rock and roll.
Fun
Let's
part.
do it.
First question. Who has been your biggest cultural or personal influence outside of tattooing and body art?
Good question. I think how quick does these answers need to be? Pretty quick,
It's
don't they?
the least rapid rapid fire you've ever seen in your life, so take as long as you want.
Rapid fire, but explain yourself.
Exactly.
So, obviously, yeah, a lot of tattoo artists have been a big part of my life. I've been tattooed by probably about 10 or 15 different artists, but outside of that, it's going to sound very, very silly, but my family have been huge influences on me.
Yeah.
Ever since a young age, obviously what Nick went through has shown just what he's been able to go through and where he is now has been pretty incredible. But Mum and Dad have been huge, and my older brother Reese, who hasn't had a shout out at all. Oh wait, he has, the teacher.
That's right. Shout out to Reese.
Shout out to Reese and Nick. So yeah, they're my older brothers. They're my half brothers.
Yep.
So they both have a different dad to me. But they've been massive for me, to be honest. And I have like obviously influences and people that I look up to with sport and stuff like that. But keeping it, I think keeping it real is very important, and what my mum and dad and my brothers have been able to do for me, and I guess like mold me to the person that I am today, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mum and Dad.
Yeah. Love to hear that. Second question. What is your go-to karaoke song? And I'm looking for a song that you don't have to sing it on here if you don't want to.
Where are you?
I mean, that's
Crushed it.
That's the karaoke song.
Right.
It has
It's
to
gotta
be
be
right.
up there.
It has to be. Looking for a song that you don't even need to look at the lyrics. You can just do that perfect pitch, perfect tone without looking at the lyrics. What's your go-to song? Because after this, we're actually going to go to a karaoke bar.
Really?
I've never done karaoke before at a karaoke bar. So we're going to Whale and Ale
How good.
in Clarkson.
I need to
So,
see some videos of this. Please film some of it.
I mean,
Can you
I'm-
film some of it?
I'm not going to be drunk, but absolutely. And it's
Right.
it's probably going to be I Miss You by Blink-182.
Good.
So
I like it. I mean,
that
it's
was-
a banger.
Oh,
It's a banger. It's a great song.
All time. It's probably like a couple of years younger than me, but it's still a banger and it's fantastic.
What, that song?
Yes. I think it came out 2004.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
Don't know, but somewhere around there.
Yep.
So,
All right, karaoke song.
yes.
I'm probably going to go with a Blink-182 song, to be fair.
Come on.
It's either going to be Not Now, which was, I think, from one of their greatest hits album.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the album's like a little smiley face with arrows.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I actually have tattooed on me, on my
Nice.
ribs. Yes.
Nice.
One of my favourite tattoos, actually. So,
Love it.
Not Now, All the Small Things.
It's a classic.
All the
Small things.
Yeah. Which is, I think, is like that's like a go-to karaoke,
Yeah.
like sing-star song. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, easy to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe What's My Age Again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you had a gun to your head and you had to sing one of those three songs,
Oh,
could
shit.
not get a lyric wrong, which one would you sing?
I'd probably die. No. Probably All the Small Things.
Yeah.
I think that one probably sticks in my head.
Yeah.
And it's a song that everyone loves at karaoke
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
Which, if I'm singing at karaoke, I want as many other people singing as possible.
Yep.
Because I don't sound great. I don't have a
I
great...
think you sound fantastic.
Well,
so.
thank you, mate. You haven't
yeah.
heard me sing, though. So.
Oh, you just did it before, so it's fine. Last,
What's yours?
well, I mean, probably I Miss You by
Yeah, okay.
Blink-182.
Yeah, good call.
Tainted Love by Soft Cell. I can get that lyric for lyric without looking at anything in the car.
You might have to. I don't know how that song goes. You might have to give me a little bit.
That's all right. We'll just
Do it.
Nah,
Nah?
that's okay. I'm not getting peer pressured into that. That's all right.
Whatever.
You can look.
Stay
it up
strong.
after.
Stay strong. Fair.
Yeah. And last question before we get to the would you rather.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to have a dinner party with 3 people,
Oh.
dead or alive, but the catch is, I use the term people very loosely. If you want to use the cast of a TV show or a band or something, they can be one person. But you can't say these 2 people from this band of 3. If you're inviting that band, you're inviting the whole band.
Are they counted as like one?
Yeah, one person.
Really?
So, for example, my 3 choices would probably be, I love too many athletes, so I can't invite a single athlete. So I'm going with the cast of The Office US,
Good.
the cast of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and
Cool.
and TMG, Tiny Meat Gang, Cody Ko, and
Okay.
Noah Miller. So,
It can be like.
those
like
are my
they're
3, but it's like
They're like a one.
exactly. It's like 30 people.
Okay.
So
It's a good dinner date.
3 exactly.
I like that.
Need a big table.
Yep. All right, my first one, which now in saying that, it could actually be, there's going to be a lot of band members here.
That's
There's going to be a
all
lot of music. So
That's
originally, if I'm thinking one, this person is not alive anymore, but Freddie Mercury
Yep.
from Queen. Absolute rock star, absolute character, and I just think he'd have some really funny stories.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a strange dude.
Yeah.
But did things exactly how he wanted, which I think is really cool.
Yep.
So, but let's just invite all of Queen.
Yep.
Why not?
Sounds good.
Everyone's going to come with them.
That's one guest.
One guest.
Yep.
Second guest, Blink-182.
Have to.
I'm going to Tom, Travis, and Mark.
Yep.
They're all going to come. Originally, it would have, if it was just had to invite one, it was probably going to be Travis.
Yep.
But we'll invite all of them because they're like, I think it's funny. Those guys are like in their 40s and their 50s, but they still perform like they're like teenagers.
yeah.
They like dick jokes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry if I shouldn't say that,
Who
but
doesn't?
everyone loves a good dick
Yeah,
joke
exactly.
sometimes. So I'm going to invite Blink-182, the whole band, because we're just going to like rock out. Imagine rocking out with Blink-182 and
Oh,
Queen as
the
well.
best.
Right? And the last one is going to be a single person. And this one isn't like, this is a little bit more of a downer, but it's going to be my uncle. My uncle passed away going on probably like close to 20 years ago now. And I was very, very close with him. I actually have a tattoo for him as well. But the reason I want to invite him is because the knowledge that he had about just like everything and anything. One of those guys that like you'd love to have it like a quiz night.
Yeah, just knows a little bit about everything.
Absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
everything. And the things that like he doesn't know, you're like, oh, I don't need to know that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so and I don't think we were able to get enough out of him.
Yeah.
Obviously before he passed away. Like the knowledge he had would have been incredible. So, and I was really young as well, so I didn't appreciate or understand as much as I should have.
Yeah.
Obviously still cherished him, but so yeah, I'm gonna bring him to dinner because I'd just like to pick his brain about life so much more.
That sounds like
So
3 pretty good choices.
I think
right
it'd be
there.
pretty cool.
Got a little bit of a smaller table than I do, but not necessarily a bad thing.
That's
Smaller
right.
bill. Smaller bill.
That's true. Oh,
Yeah.
am I paying? Are we paying for
Yeah,
it?
we're paying for
Are
it.
we?
Yeah, so
Okay. Well,
everyone could
it's
go
just
to the GoFundMe.
yeah. All right. Well, it's just Freddie Mercury, and it's nah. So yeah, they're my guests.
Yep. I love that. Awesome. Now for the fun part.
Okay.
Would you rather? Because one thing about me is I love would you rather questions, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not the classic, would you rather have world peace or have all the money in the world? That's
Would you
boring,
rather have
okay?
fingers as toes or
Exactly.
toes as fingers? Boring.
I'm talking about the ones where it's like super hypothetical, will literally never happen in your life, but
Oh.
like
Okay.
what if, that kind of thing. So
World's a pretty strange place.
you have one, I'll let you go first, and then
Do I get to go first?
you get to go first.
And then you're going to stump me, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. As we're both big lovers of tattoos
Yes.
and body art
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff, would you rather never be able to have any tattoos, like no tattoos at all, or never be able to get tattooed at all by like a professional artist, or every tattoo that you get has to be drawn and tattooed by you?
Are you saying with the first option, do I lose everything
You
I have now?
you lose all your tattoos that you've already got
Oh,
as
100%,
well.
I'm drawing my own then and doing my own.
So you're drawing your own and you have to tattoo yourself as well.
Yep. I would rather have bad tattoos done by myself than no tattoos. 1,000,000%. You said you were going to stump me with that question.
I don't know why I thought it would.
Nah. What would you choose?
Well, I can't draw to save my life.
Neither can I, but I'd rather have bad tattoos.
Look, I reckon I could draw some pretty funky stick figures.
Exactly.
Some groovy ones.
And you could learn...
Because we got to stay groovy.
And stay groovy.
Stay
Hashtag
groovy.
stay groovy. And you could learn how to tattoo. Like, you know.
That's true.
Yeah. You got a lot more time to do other stuff if you don't have tattoos and you can't get tattoos, but that's...
And if your tattoos are that bad, like you could probably draw them on like the top of your thigh or something like that.
Exactly.
All right, shit question, Zach, but...
That's right.
Next time you get me on here, I'll come up with a better one.
I'm looking forward to it.
I promise.
I'm looking forward to it because I have some great ones that I'm not going to use on episode 1.
You gotta save it. Can't throw out all your tricks straight away.
I'll save a couple of them for when you and Trish come on. Easy.
Trish.
All right. My question is, would you rather be the absolute undeniable best in the world at something that you could not care less about? Like, I'm trying to think of an example, but like... Not to say that you don't care about gymnastics or something, but like everyone knows who Simone Biles is.
The US.
Yeah. Whether you like gymnastics or not, you know who she is.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So like even old mate down the road who doesn't know anything about anything, he still knows who you are because you're just that good at
So like
that thing.
if you were like the world champion at like chess or something like that.
Exactly. Or snail racing, something like that. Like Joey Chestnut kind of thing. Everyone knows who Joey Chestnut is, but no one watches the eating contests or anything. They just know who Joey Chestnut is. So you're the
marble racing.
Best in the world at something that you could not care less about.
And you just happen to be good at it?
Yeah.
Like it's a gift?
Yep. And just everyone knows who you are because of that thing, even though they don't watch it. Or just be like pretty good at something that you love. For example, you make the MLB, but you're just like at the end of the bench kind of thing. And you like have like a 4-year career, and then that's kind of it.
You play a few games, and
you got a couple of highlights on YouTube. Your family have jerseys hanging up, that kind of thing. But like it's whatever. See, it's a good one.
That is pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I want people to write in questions too.
Oh yeah,
put your questions in.
Drop your questions below.
Drop your questions.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is good. That is really good. I'm going to go with something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go with, like, the baseball answer, I think.
Okay. So you'd rather be end of the bench for 4 years and then you're back to your old life, playing in minor leagues and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that because it's going to be something that I enjoyed and it's something that I work for, I think.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
Because it's like you might be, like, the world champion at chess or something like that, but I think it's important that if you got to enjoy things, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you could learn to love it. You could.
I'm shit at chess, for example, but...
I don't even know how to play chess.
I actually don't have a clue.
Yeah, no idea.
Genuinely...
Checkers? We can play checkers.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at, like, Connect 4. Noughts and crosses.
When Trish comes in, we'll bring Connect 4 and we'll play it.
Mum's about to go down. So I'm going to go with the baseball one.
Okay.
Have a career in
Would it
something
be baseball or would it be something else?
Are we talking, like, if it actually had happened?
So you spend 4 years in the MLB, and you get maybe, let's say, during those 4 years, the seasons are pretty long. Hey?
Oh, they play like 160 games.
Okay, so let's say 4 years you play 25 games.
Over 4 years.
Yeah, over 4 years. You play 25 games. The rest of them, you just kind of like at the games, ready as an emergency.
I'm just signing autographs or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So no one in the stands really knows who you are, but like your family do, your friends do and everything. You go down to minor leagues, everyone's like, oh, that's the dude that played for whatever for a few years.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still very far off that with baseball, but I'd take that because it would have been bloody hard to get into. Yeah. So I'll go with that.
100%.
Yep.
That's all right. Love that.
Love it. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well,
what about you?
Oh, it depends on what sport I'm choosing. Because if I'm going basketball, 100%, because then you're just instant millionaire. Get to travel for free, you get hotels for free, food for free, everything.
True.
Like
I could live off some of the things that made me a Major League Baseball player.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Could start my own podcast.
You could.
And it could be called like You Failed. No, I'm joking.
Could be called like Fill in the Gaps or something.
Great name for a podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Someone should come up with that actually.
Yeah. So hope no one steals it. I should start that.
Yeah, I know you should.
Yeah, so I'd choose that if it was basketball.
Yeah,
but
good.
Anything else, I think pretty much anything else I would I'd probably be the Michael Jordan or the LeBron, depending on what way you want to look at it, of snail racing.
Yeah. Look, it'd be pretty cool though, wouldn't it?
It would be. Like you
really
walk down
me
the street and everyone's like, hey,
that's the snail guy.
that's Egg. Oh my
That's
God.
Egg.
No way. I wonder if he's slimy.
Yeah.
With that, we'll call it.
That's probably a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, not bad.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you and anyone that you want to shout out?
Instagram, you can find me on Instagram, groovyz_4, hashtag stay groovy.
Hashtag stay groovy.
I'm pretty active on there. I post pretty shit memes.
I mean, as good quality shit memes though.
Good quality shit memes.
Yeah.
So you can find me on there. That's pretty much it. I'm not on like TikTok or anything like that. Shout outs. Shout out to the Shaka Project. So this beautiful t-shirt that I'm wearing here, about a week ago, have connected with like the Shaka Project. They're a men's mental health program based in Australia. Again, I could go on all day about all the amazing things that they do, but they're really big on that, that stigma around men's mental health and being able to talk up and stuff like that. So if you want to get your hands on this beautiful t-shirt, jump on to my Instagram profile. There's a link in my profile with a cheeky little discount as well.
We'll
Shaka Project.
We'll chuck the link for that also in the show notes as
Let's
well.
do it.
Head over to his Instagram for
say hello
and everything.
If you want to have a chat, if you want to talk about anything, hit me up.
Want to get Trish's number?
Behave, you.
Sorry,
Jesus.
Trish. Sorry, Trish. I don't even know you, and I'm already acting like this. That's all right.
Mum would love that.
Awesome. And also shout out to Early Ones Run Club and
Absolutely,
Stevie, because that's how we connected.
That is true.
Through that, so,
the Early Ones.
Yes.
A nice little run along the coast.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
is very, very cool.
So it's every second-ish
I think
Sunday.
it's every second-ish
during
Sunday.
winter, it's a bit more difficult because of the weather.
Yep.
But go follow the Early Ones
Yeah,
Run Club.
absolutely.
Get around
There's some
it.
cool things.
Oh, great community.
Yep.
And good group of people.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Man, thanks for having me. This has been super cool. I've enjoyed
1.
this.
Episode 1 all done. Hey?
Starting with a bang.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Please be sure to like, subscribe, share it around, tell your friends, families, neighbours, pets, and your friends, families,
Your
neighbours,
snails,
pets.
dog,
exactly,
cats, uncle, brother.
Yep. Tell Trish.
Tell Trish.
Yeah, everyone go tell Trish.
Shout out to Trish.
Shout out Trish. I hope she sees this. I really do.
If Mum doesn't watch this,
everyone's going to be like, Trish.
Honestly.
Who is she?
And I'll know if she's watched it or not because she'll be like, oh my God, you spoke about me 17 times. Who's that guy?
17 times. Oh, so she only watched the first half.
Yeah. Yeah. She watched the introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, can't thank you enough for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Absolutely. I'm keen.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.